What impact will Vinesh Phogat and Bajrang Punia joining the Congress have on the party's electoral prospects? 41% of the overall respondents seem to think it will have a significant boost on the party's electoral campaign. 21% say it will have a minor impact on the party's electoral campaign. The interesting thing to note over there, though, is that even amongst BJP voters, almost half the BJP voters think it will either have a significant impact or a minor positive impact. So obviously, the Congress voters think it will have a significant impact. That's but obvious. But look here, even within those who say they support the BJP in Haryana, 47% are saying it will have an impact, a positive impact, either significant or minor but positive. Those who think it will have very little effect is about 1 in 4 of the total voters. Will Vinesh Phogat's entry into the Congress and electoral fray dent her image as a national Indian hero? Here are the responses to this question. Here people are split. About 40% of the respondents say yes, it will have a split. 40% say no. So people here confused, especially amongst the BJP. Those who say it will dent her image, 50%. Amongst Congress voters, fewer seem to think it will dent her image. That again quite obvious. But on the big question of, if you cast aside morality, will her presence make a difference? A very big number, 41, 4 in 10 say yes, it will make a difference. I want to introduce you to our guests joining us for this broadcast, starting with Yashwant Deshmukh, lead cephalogist at C-Voter. It's his team that's done this data for us. We have Rohan Gupta from the BJP, Swati Malik from the Congress, Anmol Pawar from the Aam Aadmi Party. But I first want to spend some time with Yogendra Yadav, co-founder Swaraj India, who's made clear he's speaking as a political activist and not as a number cruncher. He comes from the state of Haryana, understands its politics well. So, Mr. Yadav, last time when the assembly election happened in Haryana, it was on the back of a massive Modi tsunami in the Lok Sabha, and yet the BJP struggled to cross the finishing line. It required the JJP to ultimately be able to form a government. Now, with 10 years of anti-incumbency, with the centre not as strong as it was in the last Lok Sabha elections, and the fact that Vinesh and Bajrang Punia have joined the Congress, and if the AAP Congress alliance happens, is it a case of everything that could potentially go wrong for the BJP, all of it going wrong to create a perfect storm?
Thank you, Rahul. You've pretty much said what needs to be said. That really is the situation. Sitting in television studios, we can create suspense out of anything in the world. But honestly, there isn't much of a suspense in the Haryana Assembly election. I'm not into forecasting, and I said to you, I'll not get into seat forecasting. But to my mind, ask anyone on the street, the simple question is, will it be a simple victory for the Congress? Will it be a wave for the Congress? Or will it be a tsunami for the Congress? These are the three ranges that we are looking at. As yet, we cannot say which one of the three might happen. But that's the range. And every day, something or the other happens to push it further in the direction of a bigger and bigger victory for the Congress. The basic reason, there are three things that are working right now for the Congress. First is the basic electoral arithmetic. As you rightly said, 2019, BJP had a massive victory in Lok Sabha. Not only did they win all the 10 seats, they had a 30 percentage point lead over the Congress. BJP had 58%, Congress had only 28%. Within a few months, when the assembly election took place, BJP came down to 36%. Congress remained at 28%. But the result from winning all the seats, BJP had won 89, almost 80 seats out of 90 in that election, had led that time. At the assembly election, they are down to 40 seats. So in other words, the simple thing is that from a parliamentary election to an assembly election, things get harder for the BJP. It's more of a split verdict. Things are harder for BJP.
But let's also look at what's not falling in place for the Congress. Yogendraji, you know well that oftentimes the Congress is the Congress's worst enemy. We're seeing how Messrs. Surjewala and Shailja up in arms against the Hoodas, who they think are running roughshod over them in ticket selection and allocation. They've protested very clearly, and then there is the protest that the Hoodas have, and so does Zandeep Surjewala, who said publicly that there should be no alliance with Kejriwal's AAP. They don't want the alliance. So now you've got two factors of creating the prospect of internal sabotage or internal dissent, which has often been the Congress's undoing in the past.
Yes, I've heard people say that the only party that can defeat the Congress in this election is the Congress itself. As yet, we haven't seen much of that. We have seen much worse in the past. But that the reason could be that Congress is not out with the list as yet. Let the list come out. Let us see what has happened. As yet, what we have seen is that the dissension within the BJP is a more organized party, BJP is a more disciplined party. But what we have witnessed in the BJP is an open rebellion. So let's see whether the contestation over tickets in Congress is much higher order than that of the BJP. Let's wait and see that. I do expect dissension in an election which you are expected to win. You can never satisfy everyone with ticket. There is bound to be dissension. There is bound to be unease. There are bound to be some rebels. I expect more rebels than normal in this election. At the same time, let's wait and see if the dissension within Congress is of an order and magnitude which can change the overall situation. And the overall situation is what we need to focus on, Rahul. And I was saying that apart from this basic psephological situation, which you explained and which I explained, there is also an additional factor of a very strong anti-incumbency against the state government, much more against the Modi government in the national election. And someone explained it in 3 words. I think it beautifully captured that. He said, Kisan, Jawan, Pahalwan. These 3 things will basically ruin the BJP's electoral prospects. Kisan, because this was a site of the farmers' movement, because the unease and anger against the BJP on the farmers' issue has not gone. Jawan is not only Agniveer, it's also general unemployment. Agniveer is important in Haryana's case because while Haryana is a very small state, it contributes almost 10% to the armed forces in the country. And shrinking of that and being reduced to a contractual employment is a very serious issue. And Pahalwan is an issue that we've all been talking about. This is not merely about wrestling, not merely about sports. The 2 persons who have joined the Congress party today, they're not just Olympic medalists. They are not, but even if they were, today someone like Vinesh Phogat, she is more of a national icon than she would have been even if she had a gold medal. Remember, she's not coming merely as someone who performed brilliantly in Paris Olympics, not merely someone who has been wronged in the Olympics and the entire country's sympathies are with us. She also comes as someone who has fought one of the bravest battle on the street. So she's not just a sports person who's coming in. And their entry, although 1 or 2 people's entry does not change the overall election, I would not call it a game changer. But yes, it gives a fillip. So these are the kind of things.
But I was having a conversation with top BJP strategists recently, those who are leading the party's campaign in Haryana. They seem to think that it's not what appears on the surface, that the BJP, particularly in urban areas and amongst the non-Jats OBCs, has enough of a caste coalition where if the opposition vote can get split, like it did in the last elections where the JJP did well, the INLD has been king and kingmaker in the past, and if the 2 smaller Dalit parties, Azad's party and the BSP, also split the Dalit vote, then it becomes more exciting and a closer contest than would seem on the surface.
There are too many ifs in this equation, Rahul. What you spelled out is absolutely has been BJP's strategy. BJP's strategy has been, it's a caste strategy. I mean, we normally, while discussing BJP, we forget that BJP has not merely caste, has had a polarizing strategy. In Haryana, it is called 35 Ek, which is to say in the mythical 36 communities of Haryana, BJP's political project has been to isolate one community, namely the Jats, and put the remaining 35 against them. That worked to BJP's advantage. BJP has done very well precisely on the basis of this formula. It doesn't seem to be working this time. You spoke about Dalits. So far, there is no indication that either BSP or Chandrasekhar Ravan's party is making any dent so far. It's also not clear whether BJP is able to retain its urban votes, because there is the unease, the anti-incumbency against the government affects everyone. You cannot then bisect it along caste lines. So there is unease with the government, and when you retire your own chief minister after 9 years, you are kind of conceding that, all right, we didn't have much to show. So that affects throughout the state, but yes, BJP would hope.
Is the Congress better off with an alliance with the AAP or without an alliance with the AAP?
Haryana and in southern Haryana.
Should Congress fight alone, or is it better off in an alliance with the AAP?
If the question is, does the Congress need Aam Aadmi Party to win the election in Haryana? My simple answer would be no, I don't think so. Yes, you can always go better, but the manner in which Congress needed an alliance in the Rajasthan Assembly election, which it incidentally did not go for, that's not the situation they have in Haryana. They don't need an alliance to win Haryana elections this time. Some of the important leaders of Aam Aadmi Party who could have won a seat have already defected to the Congress. There are not too many constituencies in Haryana where Aam Aadmi Party on its own can get a decent vote share and transfer it to Congress. However, if the consideration for alliance is not Haryana, if the consideration is larger unity of India coalition and possible alliance in Delhi, that's a different ballgame altogether. That's a different, national considerations are very different. State considerations do not indicate any need for an alliance.